Hey guys, Psycho Revolution here, and I plan on making a 1.7.1 update video when it came out. I think it was Father's Day it came out, but I was busy the whole day and couldn't do it, and then they decided they were going to hotfix it like 4,000 times in a week, so I held off until now, and now I'm going to cover everything that's been in from 1.7.1 all the way to 1.7.1.5, okay? These have been 4 hotfixes that have come out, and some of them have been adding new features. So at that point, it's not a hotfix, because a hotfix is supposed to address bugs that arise in software. So if you add new features, it's no longer a hotfix. But hey, Dean Hall, I'm not telling you how to live your life, okay? I'm just pointing out the obvious. So let's get started with 1.7.1. What are the big things that came out in this update? I call this the infected update because it changed a lot of the things that have to do with the infected and their behaviors and abilities. So, number 1, they can now spawn in buildings again. They used to, then they weren't. Now they're back and able to spawn in buildings. The big thing now is, though, that they can't see through walls and objects like they could before, and he's increased the line of sight in the zombie. He also locked the line of sight to their head direction. So, what did that mean? It meant that zombies were way more dangerous, they could spot you from farther away, and the world became a lot more dangerous. And not only did he buff the infected, he nerfed the survivors, okay? When you spawn in now, you only spawn with a bandage, painkillers, and a flashlight, okay? You have no weapon, you are unarmed, and if you get attacked by a zombie, you can't kill him. Now, that would be incredibly rough if he had not added the ability to hide from the infected. They will no longer chase you across country on marathons. The infected are no longer heat-seeking missiles. If you get out of their line of sight, if you give them the slip, they're not going to be able to chase you forever. And then the last of the major changes in this update were a double-barrel shotgun was added. The Winchester spawn rate was decreased to make room for the double barrel. Tents can be placed anywhere but buildings, and a decrease in the CZ spawn rate. Also, the humanity icon to the right of your screen, the face, it was removed. So this update has had a huge impact on the game. It's a lot different than it used to be. It's a lot harder. I feel sorry for you new players that are joining now because it is going to be rough. And I know that for a fact because last night I was killed. You'll see later in this video how. It was quite dumb. But I died and I spawned in with this new loadout, and man, it was a rough time. I barely made it out alive, and I have like over 90 hours played in this game. So if you're new to this game, just stepping in, man, I feel bad for you. It's going to be rough. And that is it for 1.7.1. Now, if you thought that was a lot of changes, hold on to your panty liners, because we got 4 hotfixes to go. Let's go with the first one, 1.7.1.1. Okay, so what happened in this one? Well, they reverted the infected line of sight back to their body direction. It had been locked to their head direction, but they glance around a lot, if you may notice, and, well, that leads to a huge line of sight for the infected, making it nearly impossible to go anywhere without being aggroed. So it is back locked on to body direction, so you have a little bit more of a chance. Now, with this no spawning with a gun, they increased the Makarov spawn rate and made a chance for Makarov ammo to spawn on dead zombies after you kill them. So hopefully you can find a gun easier now. They also fixed the gender problem. You should get the option to pick your gender again. So there you go. And they also made toolboxes spawn in again. So good luck getting in a vehicle and repairing it before this update, because you can finally find a toolbox now. So Bob the Builders everywhere, rejoice. Next update, 1.7.1.2. This is a hotfix. It's supposed to be a hotfix, but we're going to be adding features, so take that for what it's worth. Okay, so what happened in this one majorly? They improved the nighttime lighting. I haven't played at night since the update, so I don't really know what it looks like now. But that's not the big thing. The big thing in this hotfix was they added melee weapons. This had been called for on the forums for a long time. We finally have melee weapons. They are the hatchet and the crowbar. If you had a hatchet in your tool belt before this update, it's going to be gone. You're going to have to find a new one. They can now be used as a primary weapon. They take the rifle spot. I think they take like 12 spots in your bag. But this is going to change in an update we're going to cover later in the video, so don't worry about that. So on to the next update. This is hotfix 1.7.1.4, formerly known as 1.7.1.3. I don't know what happened to it, but it's now 1.4. Okay, so what happened in this one? Well, there's now a chance for the bleeding after you take a hit to spontaneously stop. So if you just spawn in on the coast and you've already used your bandage and you get hit again, well, there's a small chance your bleeding may just stop. Unlikely, though. Also, they reverted sickness. The damage it does, it goes down to 6,000 now. It had been changed to 10,000, but they decided to bring it back down, so it's even more dangerous to be sick because your blood will drop to 6,000 and stay there if you have a cold, an infection. And then here's a couple of ones that I overlooked until doing this video. I didn't even notice that they happened. But you cannot give someone who is starving or dehydrating and losing blood, you cannot give them a transfusion anymore. Until now, this had been a tactic to delay the death of someone who is dehydrating or starving, but no longer. If you don't have food, you're gonna die. Okay, also, with food and thirst, this is a big one. I didn't know it happened until now. But it no longer drops when you're offline. So this is an excellent change. It didn't really make sense that it would drop when you're not online. So you're like being Farmvilled into DayZ, but guess what? Not anymore. It does not change when you're not playing. Also, once the infected lose their line of sight on you, they will investigate where they saw you last. So, to that I say, cool beans. Also, there was a large loot rebalancing. What that means exactly, I don't know, but the loot is going to be different than it once was. And here we have finally made it to the end of the video, the last hotfix 1.7.1.5. This is the most recent at the time of this recording. They might add more hotfixes, who knows? At this rate, we might have like 12 hotfixes by the end of the week. So, what was in this one? To start off with, they fixed a problem with the spawning of the infected. Now, in one of the previous hotfixes, they made it so they could only spawn 30 meters away from a player, but that didn't work too well, as you'll see right here. Now, as you watch this, you can see this is how I died last night. It was pretty redonkulous and made me rage a little bit, okay? We were in the airfield, and I was just crouch walking perfectly safely, avoiding aggro when, hey, look, 3 zombies spawn and kill me and they don't kill me right away. They knock me out, excuse me, and then they feast on my corpse and kill me. So that kind of sucked. Apparently, it has been fixed for reals in this hotfix. Also, when you kill an infected, his corpse will despawn after 5 minutes to improve server stability and optimization, whatnot, okay? Now, this is nice, but I'm also don't kind of like this because you can use zombie corpses to see if someone's been in an area before you or not, so I kind of would like it to be longer than 5 minutes, but hey, you can't have everything you want. Also, what did they do? They lowered the audibility back to where it should have been. It got increased with the line of sight it shouldn't have been, and they reverted it back to where it should be, okay? Also, the melee weapons, they have placeholder sounds now, so it's not just like silently hitting weird noises. It was weird. Anyway, they also, this is big, this is huge, okay? Hatchets, they can now be placed back into the tool belt, so it's also a weapon and a tool. Before this hotfix, when it was a melee weapon, if you had it, you had to have it as a melee weapon. It took up like 12 spots in your bag, so if you wanted to harvest wood, you had to sacrifice 12 spots in your backpack or use it as your primary weapon. And it's not the greatest for a primary weapon because you typically get hit when you use it and bleed. So melee weapons aren't the best weapons, but they're good if you spawn in without a gun. So there's that, and also the flashlights. Much like the hatchet, they can now be placed into your tool belt, which is great news. So if you want a flashlight, you don't have to carry it around as if it was a pistol and take up your inventory or take up your pistol spot. So I'm pretty sure it has to be in your pistol spot like it has been if you're using it, but if you're not using it, you can drop it into your tool belt and it's out of sight, out of mind. And if you want to read the complete changelog for each of these updates, I'll link them in the description. And that is it. Thank you for watching. I hope you have found this educational, possibly entertaining, but that's not my call. So thanks for watching, and what should I plug today? I'll plug my Facebook page. That sounds good. If you want to, you can like me on Facebook, and we can talk, we can chat, I can post pictures and screenshots. We can have a lovely time. I love talking to you guys, and I like using Facebook to do it. So, link to that is in the description as always, and please, won't you, please stay frickin' sexy.